What's up, Phoenix Nation? It's your girl Jade Phoenix here. I am back. I am actually doing something amazing because I made so many friends at Fan Expo Boston, and one of them was kind enough to join me here. And unfortunately, our Lithy is sick. We wish that she gets better as fast as humanly possible, but that does not stop the gate. That does not stop us opening. That does not stop us welcoming our friends back. I'm here with Milena Braga. Everybody say hi. Everybody, hi.
Hi. Hello. I'm so excited to be
Welcome,
here.
welcome back to the gate. Meeting you at Fan Expo Boston was transcendent. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, dude, it was amazing. We had the best talk.
We did.
We did, and we had a great interview. And I just had to have you come back.
Yeah.
I had to. It was just and I like when I tell you, Phoenix Gate fan, I have been reading The Cost of Magic. I am halfway through this book, and the only reason I didn't finish it is because I'm also reading like two other books at the same time.
It happens.
It happens, but oh my God, this book has me on the edge of my seat. I'm only up to I'm like midway in chapter 12 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already gotten to certain pieces. Things have been established, and I'm sitting here going, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
give me more. Give me more. So, like, well, first things first, what number book is this for you? I think this is number 6.
It's book that my trilogy 7. Book 7.
Ooh, your 7th book?
Mm-hmm.
Lucky number 7. Oh, we
Yeah.
love that.
I love that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Ta-da! We love. I'm that lucky number 7. This is gonna be a series, correct?
I had thought of it as a standalone series for now, but I'm always open to more ideas.
We're
idea ever came.
So I'm always open to more books. I'm never gonna say no to more good reads because
Right.
wow, like you gave me your last copy too, and like you signed it.
I gave you the display.
You did. You did. Like my partner was so upset that she didn't get her own paper copy. I'm like, go on Goodreads and get your own. Like, so she did. She actually did purchase your book off of Amazon.
Oh, good. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
She had it delivered to her Friday, and she started reading it actually Monday.
Okay. Yay.
And so Lithy was telling me that she honestly loves the book as well, and she hasn't been able to put it down. Like, unlike, she's literally reading it in between on her breaks from work.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Thank you. That means so much to me.
No, it is really good. And honestly, like, I'm kind of regretting now not buying the rest of your books in Boston, but I literally had no more space.
I understand.
Like, honestly, it was like trying to fit everything into my suitcase going home. Oh.
Yeah. But there are worse problems to have, right? Than like I have too many. Like, who has ever said I have too many good books? No one. No one's ever said that.
Nobody that I know.
Right. Nobody with any sense. So
nobody that I know has ever said that. But I did find out that one of my good friends commits the ultimate book sin. They skip to the back and read the end before they read the entire book.
You may have a serial killer on your hands. I don't know.
Dude, I'm just like, when she told me this, I was like, are you crazy? She's
right.
like, I need to know if it's good. I'm like, ma'am. Oh my God. Okay, it's happening. I really do agree that I think it is a serial killer. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I ran away.
Yeah. Understandable.
So, I know we talked about this in Boston, but I want to talk about it again because now we have time that we can sit down and really dive into the meat that is the cost of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Where did your inspiration for this come from?
I was trying to think about that. Somebody asked me that the other day. Okay, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. So, in the days leading up to Fan Expo, I was planning like what I was gonna bring, and I was like, I'm just gonna write another book. Like, I feel like I should just launch another book. Like, that's what I should do. That should be my like Fan Expo things. Just like write another book. I wrote The Cross of Magic in 25 days. I
That
split
is
it up.
amazing.
Thank you. I mean, obviously, there was like editing and all that stuff. I split it up into like you have to write this many words per day. I was writing on vacation. I was writing while I was taking classes. I was writing until I was so tired, but it was like kind of fun because it forced me to think about like I'm so involved with my fantasy books, and I there are definitely other things that I want to come out of that series, like involving characters, but it was nice to think about something completely different. And I honestly don't remember exactly how, because my idea was like, I want to write a book, but I was like, I have all these ideas, but I kind of want to come up with something new. I think I was scrolling through writing prompts, and I don't remember which prompt I saw, but all of a sudden my brain was like, what if magic was for sale? Like, what would that look like? And immediately my brain was like, well, it probably wouldn't be good. Like, I mean, look at everything else that is good in the world and that is commercialized. Like, there would probably be ups and downs. And what would that look like if the world was dependent on it? So I guess it just kind of like, I really feel like I do not create the story idea, I catch it. And so it was almost like I caught like a bit of it. And then I was like, okay, let's pull on that. What else comes out of it? And so a lot of it I feel like really kind of evolved very naturally, but it was so fun to write, because it was just I felt like I always think like I'm not writing any commentary into this, but then I read it and I'm like, there is definitely commentary in this that I didn't realize that I was necessarily writing. So yeah.
You're tapping into the ultimate source. I mean, I do that with my original characters. I think we did talk about this before, but like whenever a character comes to me, it just I don't feel like I'm creating or writing a character. I feel like this character already existed. I was just able to tap in,
Yes.
and it just literally the character writes itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're telling me that this is what you did with this book, I'm wondering if it may be a thought, and this is because I'm a crazy person and everybody in the gate knows this, that how do we know that this wasn't sent to you from somebody in 4000 AD?
We don't. It
Stranger
could
things
be
have happened.
a parallel universe that I'm just writing about. Like, what if all stories are just parallel universes that we're writing about, you know?
I mean, it is possible. It is the parallel universe. If you can't hear the podcast cat in the background screaming for attention,
I can't hear the podcast cat, but I can see the podcast cat.
yeah, he's there. Sir, I'm gonna need you to thank you. He is a cat that has been claimed by the god Loki. He is just insane. But people also tell me because he's orange. That's just
Okay.
what happens.
Right.
Whatever. But yeah, this is the chaos that happens when you're coming live from the nest. So here we go. But either way, to build on that, like it has been proven that there are parallel universes. It has been scientifically proven that that we are not the only universe. We're not. And just like the government did tell us that aliens exist.
They did. That was very recent.
They did. So how do we know that we're not just getting downloads? We don't.
We don't.
I mean, we don't. I mean, and the fact, like, so I'm dumb. I've been pronouncing the main character's name as Mayra.
No, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I was like, it has the little slashy thingy above the eye. I know that that's an ear, no, not an aya. So let me call okay, cool. Because I was sitting there going, oh, I'm gonna butcher that.
Yeah.
Now, is the name like a traditional Brazilian name? Is that why you gave it to her?
Yes. Yeah. It's I wouldn't say it's like a very common Brazilian name, but it's definitely one that, Brazilians have heard. I think my kind of prerogative recently has just been to put Brazilians into as many things as I write as possible because I'm Brazilian. And my name, people have mispronounced my name my whole life. Like I go by Milena in America. My name is Milena. That's what my parents named me. People can't usually pronounce it, and I'm fine with Milena. But I was like, what?
My bad. I've been saying Milena.
Oh my gosh, no, I like Milena, but sometimes people call me like Milena or like Mylena, and I'm like, those are just so ugly. Please don't do that. But so I wanted to create a character that's like, you're just gonna have to figure out how to pronounce her name because that's her name, you know? It's like this beautiful Brazilian name, Maida, you know, like it's not that hard. And you can do it. So
It's beautiful.
yeah. So I feel like
I love it. I do. Like every time I read it, I'm like, yeah, I like
yeah. I just think Brazilians are often represented in media
that.
as like either it's like you're a Brazilian actor who has to like play a Hispanic character to be able to like be in you know like these roles, or it's like it's just portrayed in such like a stereotypical way. Like when I tell people I'm from Rio and they're like, oh, like the movie with like the bird, I'm like, the blue macaw, like you think that's who I relate to? So I was like, like I can sit here and complain about the lack of representation or the lack of like complexity in the Latin American um portrayal, or I can just create characters that are that representation. And I think
That's
that's kind of what I've
true.
committed to. So
Yeah, I mean, okay. So when somebody says Brazil to me, or especially Rio, I yes, I will admit I do think of that movie. Both of them.
it's
I do. I do. I
fine.
love that. I love that movie.
It's a good
Okay,
movie.
it's a good movie. The
Yeah.
animation is top notch, and the music is just I can't. I
Hmm.
I love it, but
Yeah.
that's not what I think of when I think of Rio. When somebody tells when I think of Rio, I honestly think of um the big Jesus
Hmm.
that's in Rio. I think of the fact that apparently that Rio has some of the most banging nightlife that you're ever gonna experience.
Hmm.
Um, the Olympics was held there.
Hmm.
Like Michael Phelps had like record breaking shit happen. Like Rio is not just blue macaws
No.
and plastic surgery. It's
Right.
not. Rio is Brazil itself is just it's rich in culture and history and beauty and you guys got the rainforest, most of it. So like
Hmm.
you literally produce 99% of the world's oxygen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, without Brazil, we would not have oxygen and obviously you and this book. So
Yeah.
thanks, Brazil. I love that. You know, but I'm sorry, I can't just. I'm such a geek when it comes to like. I love learning about other cultures, like, and the fact that in this book you actually nodded to our cultures back in the day, but you still didn't sit there and like single anyone out because this is a society. If you guys aren't realized, correct TLDR, this is a book set in the year 4000 AD. So literally, it is a post-apocalyptic beauty. Like I don't want to call it a nightmare because it's not a nightmare. This is about how the human race figured out a way to persevere and survive and overcome killing itself. As you can hear the cats in the background having fun, but it's fine. And literally, this book does not denominate. There is no denomination in
Hmm.
your book. You describe people as how they look, but not as what they are,
Hmm.
which I find fascinating because there are so many books that will literally sit there and go, oh well, she's Asian, she's Spanish, she's this, she's that. Like, what does it matter if she's our heroine and she's our protagonist needs to be like, I don't care. Unless it is directly rooted to the story itself, I don't care what her nationality is.
Hmm.
Like, again, like, I'm not dissing the trope, but unless it is something that is directly connected to the storyline, does it matter? I think no, because a well-written protagonist is going to tell you how they are and who they are without even you having to be like, oh, okay, well, they must be American or Canadian or whatever. And like
Hmm.
I hated the Harry Potter books for that.
Yeah.
I hated the Harry Potter books for that
I
because
get that.
so many people. I mean, I'm gonna go off trope here. You're an author, you'd understand.
Hmm.
Um, so many people assume between the book and the movies that Hermione is white.
Hmm.
And yet, when the cursed prince or the half whatever the new series came out, or the after everybody graduated kind of stuff, it was discovered that Hermione is actually supposed to be black. So many people lost their fucking minds, and I'm just sitting there like, but what does her skin tone have to do with the character? Are you
I think
mad
we
that
know what the anger about that is really about. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, in a roundabout way that it kind of makes my point, which is why I loved in this book that you literally don't show the denominations because it does not matter in this future. And I love that.
yeah, well, and in this future too, you have to remember it's set in a war. It's set in the years after a war in which countries attacked each other and blew up almost the entire world. And so, while I think it is beautiful, while I think culture and belonging to a group is beautiful, like that's what I'm studying in school, it can also be very dangerous when you are like this group. I mean, we see that like with, the Holocaust. This group is better than other groups. That's dangerous, you know? And so I thought that was an interesting idea to explore. Like, what would that society look like? And that's why I kind of thought, like, maybe I don't think they would create those denominations. I think they would say, like, this is this sector of the world and this is this sector of the world, but we're not going to give it names because we don't want to give the world that power again to be able to be like, my group is better than your group and now we're going to destroy your entire group, because that is dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's funny because as Mairo is talking about her beginning, because like I said, I've only managed to get halfway through the book, so I'm still waiting for all the amazingness coming out, but I managed to get through her explaining her coming to the company and what they talked about and the history. Like, there's hints all over in the beginning of the first 12, because like I said, I'm in the middle of chapter 12. The first 12 chapters, there's hints that while they're located in certain areas, that's not what they are. While like, because they say that Magicorp is located in the what would have been the Midwest of the United States.
Yeah.
Does that mean that is the ultimate hubbub and make the U.S. still the ruling power? No. In fact, it actually denominates it even more, because it is said multiple times in this book that there is no one greater than the other. And I love that. I absolutely love that. But the thing is also, on the flip side, there are hints there that there is a hierarchy. There is. I don't want to give too much away because I want everybody to go and read this book. There is an undertone to it, because it's not this beautiful utopia that we think it is. And that's why I was like, I get to talk about it. Oh my God. I get to talk about it. So I'm like, literally, it's sitting here because I'm reading it, and I actually had to go back and reread a couple chapters. So I was like, what? Wait a minute, like, hold on. Did I read that? I did read that correctly, and I was like, oh, foreshadowing. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Like, so I mean, guys, where can we find this book?
So you can find it on Amazon. My name is, again, Milena Braga, Milena space Braga. If you look that up, my book should come up. And then you can also find me at milenabraga.square.site. And if you buy them there, I can sign them and send them to you. If you buy them on Amazon, I cannot sign them. That I'm not responsible for the shipping of those books.
Unfortunately.
But, yeah. So that's where you can find it.
I do have your Square site pulled up, and I am seeing all your books. And also on the other side, I pulled up Amazon to see what they're offering as well, just because I'm crazy and I like doing those things. And it literally has the Cost of Magic listed, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other of your titles in paperback available, but it has 11 titles available for Kindle. So I'm like, I think my Kindle's going to be getting some downloads later on.
It does. There are definitely some Kindle versions of books. The Cost of Magic has yet to make an appearance on Kindle, but will hopefully soon be on the Kindle as well.
No, I have it in paperback signed, so I'm happy.
Right. You have an original. You literally have the display from Fan Expo. Like, who can say that? Like, that's so specific.
I could say that. That's right. And I'm just, I can't say enough about this book without giving too much away. And I want our listeners and readers out there to go and buy it. We did share The Cost of Magic as one of our entries into our Big Apple Bookworm. That is something that we do all September. Every day is a different book recommendation. Like, think of the way we designed it is we go with the authors that we absolutely adore and give you a reading list like they would for school. Like, hey, you know, these are really good. We're not asking you to write an essay or anything, but you should read these. So that's kind of the idea behind Big Apple Bookworms. And of course, you are a part of it.
Thank you.
No, it's well deserved.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Because honestly, like, we loved it. We did.
I mean, it means so much to me too to hear that it's like captivating and interesting to you, and that like you're retaining things, and like I love that you're going back and rereading stuff. Like that makes me so happy because I write stuff that I want to read and that I would have fun or be intrigued by. And so I like when other people are also like, yes, I shared that experience as well. Or sometimes I'll have my friends like beta reading my books and they'll be texting me like, I hate you. Why would you do this? Like I am crying. Why would you write this? And I love that.
I completely get that because I've done that with because when I make my original characters, 90% of the time they're involved in like a LARP or an online storybook community. And I am mean. I am mean to my characters. So far, I haven't noticed you be mean to any character in The Cost of Magic except Destiny. And we're going to leave it at that. Because if you want to know what's going on with Destiny, you got to read the book. You got to read the book. Sorry, not sorry. So go buy the book. But yeah. But I get it. I get it. Because there are times where I've literally sent things to my friends like, hey, what do you think of this for this character? And they're just like, they'll read it. They'll get back to me. They're like, you're grounded. You're grounded.
Right.
That's no.
Literally. Like just suffering. Like we're all suffering together. So
no, I am in no way, shape, or form a writer like you. I'm not. I don't sit here and fashion myself. I could never, because I don't have the patience, honestly. Sure. I don't. But like you have so many other books, like you have the Battles Unseen series. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So those are like my babies, like what I told you at Fan Expo. They're the first books I ever wrote, actually. I'd been trying to write them since I was like 12 and I just never had like the discipline to finish it. And yeah, so the books are about these four girls. They are the daughters of the king and queen in a magical realm called Jade, where everybody has superpowers. And their mom's younger brother wants to overthrow the kingdom. And so they all get sent away to Earth to protect them. So they're sent away to four different families. And then they are brought back when they are teenagers to the magical realm of Jada to be told of, you know, their true identities and their powers and to learn how to use them. But one of them has been kidnapped. One of them is missing. So now they have to learn how to use their powers. They have to kind of come to terms with the fact of like, I am adopted. Like none of them knew that, you know, like these people I thought were my siblings or my parents, like they're not. And now this random stranger is my sister. Also, I'm supposed to like save this kingdom from my evil uncle that I don't know. You want me to help rescue my sister who I also don't know. Like it's very complex in that way because like I was telling you again at Fan Expo, they are teenagers. And so it's like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders, but they're also like, but also like I'm going to pick a petty fight with one of the girls in my class because I'm a teenager and I have like these dueling interests in mind. So that was really interesting to write as well because I think like I like to write like people learning to manage their powers because I feel like that's relatable to all of us in a way because we all have gifts and we all have abilities and we can all use them for good or we can use them for bad or something in between. And sometimes it can be like overwhelming. Like for me, I'm very empathic. I have a lot of empathy, and I feel like that can kind of go both ways. Like if I don't control it, it will crush me. And so, but when I use it well, it's a gift. It helps me to connect with other people. And so I feel like it was really relatable in that way. And I just like love them. I feel like they're like my little sisters, you know?
Mm.
And I'm like, you got this. Like, I believe in you. I know that you're crying on the bathroom floor right now, but you've got this. So yeah.
Totally relatable. Totally relatable. I mean, and it's also, it's like right here, like you're literally created your own Power Rangers, for lack of a better, like you've created your own Power Rangers. You've created your own, like every single major thing that I grew up with had that dynamic, you know, not to the, the adoption or whatever, but like the discovery of power that you didn't know that you had, and
Yeah.
how to learn how to manage that and still be a normal teenager and or human being.
Yeah.
Like those are my favorite types of books, by the way. Like
Me too.
I have shelves of books like that. Like my favorite series growing up was the Animorphs.
Me too. Oh my God. I love those books.
I still have the entire series.
They're so good.
Yeah, they are so good. And literally, what better way to start my intro into like Animorphs came out, I think, when I was like in like the 5th or the 6th grade. So literally, I'm reading about these 5 teenagers that get these superpowers from an alien and have to still and stop the end of the world, but at the same time be teenagers and find, navigate class and love and their families. And it's like, whoa. So literally, I blame the Animorphs for my love of that kind of book. And the fact that your series is in that exact category is perfection.
Great.
It's perfect. It's perfect. And it's on my list. I'm not lying to you. It is definitely on my list.
I wouldn't blame you. I personally think that they're great, and I think that you should read them. I think you should all read them.
I mean, yeah, Phoenix fans, you really should. I mean, even if you don't want to listen to me on the cost of magic, which does, the protagonist is in their 30s, I believe you told me.
She's 30, yeah.
Yeah, they are 30 in this book. So now if you don't really necessarily want to identify with a 30-year-old protagonist, you can read the Battles Unseen book series. There's 3 books in the series. It's about teenagers. Identify with that.
Yeah.
I mean, my inner teenager would be sitting there going, Play-Doh. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Because also, like, I have 2 younger sisters and 2 younger brothers.
Ooh.
So, yeah, and two of my, one sister and one brother are my half siblings, and there is a large age gap in between us. So I get it when it comes to not quite being like, who are you? Like, because now they're adults now, and it's like I'm trying to get used to them, and it's kind of weird because we're adults, but the age gap doesn't really make a difference anymore. Like when they were kids. So I can totally identify with 4 sisters not knowing who they were and not even realizing that they had real blood related siblings, or even knowing that they weren't blood related to the rest of their siblings. I totally get that.
And they have just very strong personalities, and so they just don't always get along. Like they're learning how to get along with each other.
Words, Magic Man. I love that.
I
love
like
that.
That's very real.
Yes. Yeah. There is not a single person on this planet that I know of that has siblings that cannot relate to that. They like even only child can relate to that because they have cousins.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And if they don't have cousins, they have friend groups.
Hopefully.
So it's hopefully, yes, but it is very relatable.
Yeah.
It is very, very, very relatable. And these books come in Portuguese.
There's one in Portuguese. The first one is available in Portuguese as well. The second and third one are a work in progress. So, but yes, trying to expand to the Brazilian community.
I love that. I love that. Do you have any plans of maybe going down to Brazil and like featuring your book?
I would love that. I just have to figure out if any listeners out there want to help me with this. I'm trying to figure out like where I can because I know Amazon doesn't ship, they don't ship paperback like self-published books, and it would be a lot for me myself to internationally ship. So trying to figure out like maybe if there's like a printing press down there or somewhere, like somewhere that can help me like physically publish them in Brazil. That would be so cool. I would love to. I mean, that's my home, so I would love
I
to do something
mean,
like that there.
Phoenix Nation. I know someone out there has got to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Somebody has to.
Like, this is the world that we live in is so interconnected at this point. The way that your book in the Cost of Magic explains. So I will keep referring to that. I don't care. I love that book. And it's not just because it's the only one I've read so far. It's literally because it has a hold on me. It's like, God damn. I can't. And to be able to do that, like, I mean, even if there's just a chance, like, because I know Brazil has Comic-Cons. I know they do.
They have a huge fan
I
base
mean,
of like everything.
can you imagine if you find a Comic-Con down there that you want to go to and you apply and they sit there and say, yeah, come, join us, bienvenido, like, come, let's go, kind of. I don't speak Portuguese, I'm sorry. The closest that I ever learned was to say, how are you, in Portuguese, and that was, como vas a estar? And I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly.
It's close.
Yeah. But and the only reason I knew how to do that is because of my years as a paramedic. And you got to learn how to say hello and how are you to your patients, especially when they do not speak English. And Portuguese and Spanish are so close. I was able to make do.
Yep.
Not the greatest, but I did my best.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? Tangent off, not counting. Like, tangent not with counting. If there is a Comic-Con in Brazil. Listeners, I want you to tell me if there is a Comic-Con in Brazil that would take a Brazilian writer and feature them. You need to reach out to the gate or reach out to Miss Braga herself. Like, let these bitches know. Like, hello, we want this to happen for you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if I ever had a chance to go to Ireland or Italy, which is my nationality, I'd take it in a heartbeat.
I had never thought about that either, and I think that's a really great idea, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and the best part is, go down there. It's the one thing I have learned about consumerism. If the demand is great enough, they will find a way to make it happen. So what we need to do is generate some demand for you. And I am fully going to do that with the best of my abilities, and the Feinics Nation at your back. We will help you do that as best as we can. And even if it's just us being cheerleaders and going, hype, like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go plus ultra and we're going to hype you up. And that's the best that we could do. But I mean, who knows? I will reach out to a couple connections that I know, because I do know there are a few people, but they are mostly in the Caribbean, not Brazil. So I'm going to see I'm going to make some phone calls and send some emails and see what I can find.
Gosh. Thank you. No, seriously, thank you for that, and for like the amount of support that you've given me since meeting at Fan Expo. Like, it really does not go unnoticed. I think that there's room for all of us to succeed at the table. I very much believe that we have to help each other to succeed. Like, I can't expect other people to support me if I'm not supporting other people. I think especially as women, it's really beautiful when instead of fighting each other, we come together and lift each other up. So thank you. It really means so much to me that you're willing to like have me here, and you're willing to reach out to people. Like, that means a lot to me. So.
Oh, no. You have my phone number.
I do.
You do. People don't get my number. Like, 9 times out of 10, if I want somebody to talk to me, I'll give them my email. Like, you got my phone number. I was just like, no, you can have my number. Here you go. But no, 9 times out of 10, I try to keep it on a professional level, and I usually refer to emails and stuff like that. And yeah, I've given my number to a few people that I truly connected with interviews, like the one that I did with you in Fan Expo. And I am not insulting anybody else that I have interviewed. Guys, if you want my number, since we're cool and we're friends now, you can have my number. I think 2 of you actually already got it because I sent it to you. But either way, do not be insulted if you do not have my phone number. This is not, I'm a very small business. I am a very small podcast. Like, yeah, I got a decent following in the tri-state area, but I'm still very small,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still working to get my name out there. And I have no problem putting my shit behind somebody else's shit and saying, hey, this is the next big thing. This is something that you need to be paying attention to, because the next thing I know, you're going to be on like Time's top 100 bestseller list. And I'm going to be like, I know her. I'm friends with her. Yay. Like I will literally, and I will never sit there and be one of those people that it's like, okay, well, I helped you. Now, what are you going to do for me? No, I'm not really just going to sit there and be like, my friend did that. My friend did that. Like, that's how it should be in this business, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think we need more of that.
I agree.
But, PSA notwithstanding, all of us can have a piece of the pie if we just supported one another a little bit better. Like, I met three amazing authors, one up-and-coming artist and also an author, and so many other amazing and talented artists at Fan Expo. And every single one of them is an absolute joy to talk to and find out, like, except for like one dude who was like, but men. Mm-hmm. We love men, just not those kind of men. But like, you also did not have to sit down and talk to me. You did not have to, tell me, like, you don't have to be doing this now, but you did. And I'm so grateful for you to like just take time. I mean, and I was late today and you were still just like, nah, it's cool. I'm eating dinner. Like, like most people would not do that. And you did. And I'm just eternally grateful to you. Like, seriously, like, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I don't do that. But like, I know. Like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. But like, I want to hear about your other works too. Like, I know you said you had a couple of poetry books.
Yes, I have The Rediscovery of Light and Neither Sun Nor Stars. So The Battles Unseen were the first books I wrote, but The Rediscovery of Light is the first book I published. And those books were basically just like, I was like a teenager and I like got my heart broken and I was like pissed. And I was just writing angry poetry about both times, about like being sad and then being happy and then being in love and then being like, you suck, so kind of that bouncing back and forth. And then a couple of other things too, I would say, are included in both poetry books, because I think like when you go through heartbreak, sometimes it forces you to acknowledge like how things in your past have impacted like the choices you make, for example, in like a partner. Like, okay, maybe I'm making this choice because I haven't dealt with this thing that happened in the past. So I think that happened for me in writing those poetry books. So they were very healing. And honestly, like neither time did I intend to publish a book. I was just writing because I had to. Like, I was like, it's so big and enormous on the inside of me, and it just needs to be out of me. Like, I cannot keep holding it. And so I would just write them. I would write them like in my notes app, I would like wake up in the middle of the night and be like writing a poem. And then I would look, and both times I was like, I have this collection of poems. Why don't I just put it into a book? And I was very nervous both times to publish those books, because I was like, people know me, they kind of know who these are about. Maybe like the people who these are about read them, and then that's like kind of embarrassing. But that really hasn't, to my knowledge, happened. What has happened is people have read it and been like, you described a way that I was feeling, and I felt seen when I read it. Like, you describing your pain, like I understood what that felt like, and that was validating to me. And so that was a really beautiful experience, because again, those weren't things I ever intended for somebody else to see, and was kind of like hesitant about people seeing, because I was like, this feels like my books, at least I can hide behind like, this is fiction. My poetry is like, here is literally my heart. Please don't crush it in your bare hands, so those are my two poetry books. Like, love and loss and all of that. So
I believe that that is, when it comes to works of literary fiction, yes, you can definitely hide behind a character and sit there and say, no, 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 this was not about anything. Maybe I pulled a little bit from real life, whatever. But poetry is raw. Poetry is real. Poetry is one of those things where you're just like,
Little pig.
you can't, you either connect to it or you don't. Like, there is no middle ground with poetry. This is my personal opinion. And when it comes to people sharing that profound experience that they have gone through in words, in the spoken word, in the written word, in ways that is descriptive, that other people can sit there and read it, even if it is not pertaining to the exact scenario that you are describing, and say, same. You know what? I identify with that. Like, I understand that. Is, to me, I mean, because it just shows true vulnerability, for lack of a better word. True vulnerability. And the fact that it was so well received by others is gotta be so cathartic. And just like, definitely like one of those things where you're obviously bleeding out the poison. You're obviously getting it out. You gotta get it out. And you know, you're doing your own catharsis here, but it has to be so validating for somebody to take all that pain, all that rage, all that sadness, all that loss, happiness, whatever you wrote about, read it and say, oh my God, me too. And then you know you're not alone, and that your words have the effect on someone else. That I can't even imagine that feeling. It's got to be like transcendent, honestly.
it is. I think we all want to feel seen. I was saying this earlier. We all want to feel seen and connected and like we belong. And sometimes it's through pain. And like there is something about, yeah, hearing somebody else be like, yeah, I've experienced that too. Or even just like describing it in such a way that you're like, that is what it felt like. And I've been looking for a way to put a name to it this whole time. And you just did. And that actually makes me feel like I can release it now.
Yeah.
That is very therapeutic. So
I agree, because there are times where it's like I'll have these big feelings and I will not know, like, yeah, like, how do I get it out? So sometimes what I'll do, I'm not, again, not a writer, but I'll create a character. I'll create an OC that is based off of that emotion that I am feeling. And then through there, I work that emotion out. I find where it goes. I see where it can take it. And then 9 times out of 10, if the emotion is satisfied, I'll kill the character. Not literally, but like I won't interact with that character again. But I know if I ever feel that emotion, feel those things again, I can pull that character out and rationalize it and put it into ways, because the left brain and the right brain, obviously they connect, but they don't communicate very well. And that's why I think people like who are able to write books like this that allow people who may not be able to express themselves say, shit, yeah, that's exactly it. That is it. It's kind of like, for me, I can equate it to when I would diagnose one of my patients, and they would sit there and be like, oh my God, like, no, that is exactly how I've been feeling. That is exactly what's wrong with me. Nobody was listening to me, kind of a thing. And to hear the relief in some voices was just, chef's like, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have words, and words fail me. You're the writer, help me out here.
Sometimes words fail me too, believe it or not. Sometimes I'm like, I'm supposed to be the eloquent one, and I've lost all my words.
So are you self-published? You are. Okay, so like, no publisher, have you ever sent your books into a publisher?
I have like other projects, and I have tried with other projects, yeah, to send them into agents and all of that. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Well, fingers crossed for that.
Mhm.
I know how hard it must be in that, like, if it's cutthroat in my side of the business, I can only imagine what it's like in yours.
Very.
Yeah. And
Very.
and then there are some writers out there that just, I'm like, how did you get, what is this drivel? Like,
Yep.
not mentioning names, but my friend introduced me to a writer, and I'm just sitting there like, what? Like, they're writing about things that I'm just sitting there like, no, like incest and shit like that. And I'm like, no. And
Yeah.
and they get hyped on TikTok, and I'm like, but yet somebody that's got genuine fucking talent like you is not getting. But hey, publishers out there, fix that shit. No, like no, we do not accept this. We do not accept this. No, no. Mm-mm. Like, you don't feed me dribble. I'm bored. I need things that'll expand my brain pan. Thank you. Don't do that.
Mhm.
And also, like, the one thing that I love about your books is that even if I am splitting my time with yours and the other twos that I'm reading right now, and that's only because I'm doing research for several different things, literally it's able to keep my attention. It is very hard for me to pay attention to things for longer than 20 minutes at a time. Like, I have ADHD. It happens. Like, I mean, I can't help it, but like your book especially, it literally, I'm sitting there, I'm like, yes, 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 like, and I didn't even realize how much time had gone by. I was reading your book while I was at my doctor's office waiting to be called, and I'm like sitting there. I didn't even realize that 20 minutes had gone by.
Wow.
While I was waiting, and I was reading. I was that into the book.
I love
and
that.
that's very, very hard. So you really do have a gift.
Thank you.
Like, it's so good. So good. And I'm really not pulling smoke up your ass. I'm just so happy that I get to talk to you and tell you just how much your book is really affecting me. Like, I'm sitting here going, holy shit. Like, and I just, I need to hype you more. We need to hype more. So you need to, like, tell us, give us your social handles if you want people to follow you. Like, we already mentioned where we could find your book, but we want all the details. Like, give us everything so that all these wonderful listeners out there can go find you, follow you, and demand that you get published.
Yes, I like that plan. I love that plan a lot.
That's the plan.
You can follow me on Instagram at Milena Braga author, and there should be a link tree in my bio there that you can find, the Amazon that I had mentioned, and also my personal website where you can get signed copies. I'm also on TikTok, Milena DS Braga. I post a lot of nonsense on there, but you are totally welcome to follow me and see my nonsense. Actually, when people follow me that I know on there, I'm like, this is not for you. This space is not. You're not welcome in this space. This is for strangers on the internet who share the really specific fixations that I am currently experiencing. So yeah, I mean, read my books. That's what I would say. They're available in paperback, some of them hardcover, most of them Kindle. Like I said, working on The Cost of Magic. The First Battles Unseen is available in Portuguese. If anybody has a hookup with, Brazilian publishers, please let me know. That would be great. And yeah, and if anybody has any connections to like movie industry people that would like to maybe make any of these into movies, like I'm always open to that too. But read my books, put them in your local libraries, leave a review. Like every little thing that people do counts. And regardless, like even not from a marketing perspective, like as a person, it feels really good when I'm able to hear somebody like what you're saying, like really means so much to me. It's so nice to be able to hear someone say like this, I was captivated by this, like I was like speeding through this, I really resonated with this character, I was heartbroken by this. So just let me know if you're enjoying it, and let other people know. Just like buy a bunch of copies and like throw them at strangers.
I mean,
So
So I have a market coming up. The Phoenix Gate will be at another Moonlight Market. We work those we've worked one in August. We're working the October one, and the October one is a great one because it's the spooky one, so we get to chill. And I will be talking about that book there to anybody who listens. Like I'm because if I'm gonna finish it before then, but I know me. Because the Moonlight Market is October 7th. It's at the Great South Bay Brewery out in Suffolk County, Long Island. So if you guys are there, buy a ticket, come see me, and literally talk to me about this book, as well as, come buy my wares. But, yeah. Are you appearing at anything coming up, like any more conventions or personal appearances? Like, what's going on with you? Like, where can they find you? I know you live in Massachusetts, right?
I do. And I don't think you know this about me. I'm currently getting my doctorate in counseling psychology. So there's right. So that's kind of like my big focus right now is school. So I
As
am
it should be.
interested, right. So I'm like, yeah, this casual little side thing I do. I also am getting my doctorate. So I would like to appear at a few more expos, maybe in the summer, I'm thinking, because that's when I get a little bit of a break from school. And it's actually on my to-do list to like really look into those expos and see like what makes sense for me. But if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have an idea, hopefully, of where I'm going to be. Like I said, the big focus right now is school. So it's actually really nice to be able to like, after a long day at my internship, like come here and talk to you about it. And hopefully other people will hear it as well. So yeah, keep an eye out. And if you have any suggestions, also any listeners of anything that you think it would be great for me to appear at, I am open to all suggestions. So that's where I'm at right now.
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff coming up soon. I don't know how cool you are with coming down to New York, but there is a convention happening in December, which I think when you may be on winter break. From school, and that is a convention that I am quite familiar with called WinterCon, and it's actually held at the Resorts Casino here in Queens. It hasn't been around for a couple of years because of COVID, but they're finally coming back this year. It's a nice little con. It's not super huge like New York City Comic-Con, but it's a nice local. You get a really good set. I'm actually thinking about vending there myself, for the gate. Doing live podcasting while we're there. It's not set in stone yet, but it is something maybe you should consider, and I can send you the info once we get off.
Yes, please send me the info. I'm definitely open to it.
Of course. I mean, you're in Massachusetts. You're not that far.
No, and I have a cousin in New Jersey, so
there you go. I mean, and it's Queens. It's literally like it's not hard for you to get from Queens to New Jersey. So, it's something to consider, and also like. Obviously, the Phoenix Gate will be coming back to Fan Expos. We are definitely going back to Fan Expo Boston.
I will definitely be at Fan Expo Boston in the summer. I will say that. Yeah.
So will we. We have not decided whether we're going to get a table or if we're just going to come as press again. But either way, I definitely going back.
Yay.
Oh yeah, and maybe what you should also check out is Fan Expo Philadelphia.
Okay.
Obviously all the Fan Expos, because we stand the Fan Expo there. That's one of the best conventions. That's so well run. So everybody there is so freaking nice.
Amazing.
And honestly, that's how we met. So I'm always going to be like, Fan Expo for life, like rep, let's go. Like, oh my God, my New York came out. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I'm going to be good. But yeah, I mean, I got some, like, we'll talk after the podcast and I'll give you a bunch of my recommendations on, like, to see, because also it's expensive to do this because you are a self-published author, which is why you need to go and buy her books so that you can fund her coming so that she can show you all these things and do all these wonderful works and continue to write. Like, I mean, not knocking the school thing, but like when you have a passion, you should pursue that passion.
I agree.
I mean, everybody has a day job. I do, but my passion is exactly what we're doing right here. I love doing this. I love talking to people. I love connecting. I love, apparently I'm a marketing genius. Who knew? And I love being able to do that with people. I just like, it's funny because my partner makes fun of me and says I am a person who hates people but loves people. I'm like, well, not wrong.
It's called a fossil, sweetheart.
Not wrong, but there's a reason why, and that's probably because of my day job. You know, my day job kind of forces me to not like people.
Hey, baby.
It's fine. But this renews my love for people.
Yeah.
So.
You're great at it. You're great at making people feel like loved and important. So.
Thank you. But you are loved and you are important. So it's not like I'm sitting here not telling you the truth because I don't play that game. You'll never hear a lie come out of my mouth. Like if your book was not or mid, I would have told you. Like I fully believe that any artist needs constructive criticism. And if I was unable to connect with a character, I would say, hey, you know, no offense, but I had a little trouble doing that with this. And so far, I have not had that problem.
Good.
And, you know, hopefully when I read the other books, I won't have that problem either.
Hopefully.
You know, and that's why I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, buy all the books. They're that good. And I don't normally do that because honestly, I am very selective. I am. I read a lot and I do a lot. So for me to sit there and say, oh no, this is good, it's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Seriously, thank you.
Of course. Honestly, it has been a pleasure having you here.
Likewise.
I'm going to be sharing all the links that were mentioned earlier, Feinics fans, in the podcast. We're going to set up a little thing. You will have access to everything. On top of it, you know, just go. If you have to use Amazon to buy the books, you lose out on the personalization. So you need to go to the Square site that was mentioned earlier, which I will be linking in our broadcast. So on that note, any parting words for your fans?
Any parting words? I would say like no dream is too small. That's the thing that I've really been focusing on. No dream is too small, no dream is too stupid. If you feel passionate enough about it and you keep coming back to it, there's something there and you should pursue it. Because you never know how much this like small, seemingly dumb idea might change your life and might change the life of somebody around you. And that's what I found.
Save it.
Or save it. Yep. For sure.
For sure. That is absolutely beautiful. I'm, again, so sorry that my partner Lithy could not be here with us. Lithy, get well soon, babe.
Yeah.
We miss you. But I'm words fail me on how happy you have made me by having this interview with me. Taking time out of your busy day between interning and school and just I get it. Life is life. We talked about it through, you know, when we were texting back and forth, but like you are now part of the Feinics Nation. You are now part of the Feinics family, and we are going to make sure that to the best of our ability, get you to where we think you need to be.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got your back, girl. We got your back.
And it's an honor. It's an honor to be that and to know you. Like, I'm really grateful. And I think that you are like an unequivocal like light in this world. And I'm really honored to know you. So
thank you. I'm gonna make me cry. Getting all verklempt over here. Hold on. Let me give you a topic. The cost of magic. This does. Anyways, Feinics Nation, on that note, we are going to get out of here. Stay tuned. We have so many more surprises. And if you're not following us on any of the socials, why the fuck not? Like, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're everywhere. We're on every single fucking podcast listening station that you can find. And we do have a texting service. If you sign up for our texting service, you get special offers through us. So, you know, I might throw up a link code here and there to get you some, you know, goodies, but you got to sign up. Just like you got to go buy these books. So on that note, Feinics Nation, as you can hear the podcast cat screaming in the background for his attention and saying goodbye. Adios. Bye.